Hey, what's up, everyone? It's the Cone Phone. I kind of rushed through it yesterday because I wanted to take my car over to my mom's house and show her the car. You got to show your mom the car. She liked it, and I took her out to lunch, so we had a nice time. So I'm blaming my mom. No, it's not my mom's fault. She's a saint. So I wanted to give you guys the full experience. Ben Meyerson's already ready because Ben Meyerson's a baller. So let's just get right into it with Ben. This is no one in line. It's just me and you. What's up, Ben?
Hey, well, first of all, I want to say I appreciate you doing this today because I would have missed you yesterday. I was working. So, hey, I appreciate you making this up for everyone,
Of course.
Man, I just wanted to say real quick before I got into things, I really appreciated what you said yesterday, what you're saying about your journey, man. I know you saw my tweet, and I just wanted to reiterate what I was saying again. It's really, really cool to see what you're doing, man, and definitely look up to you a lot. So appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Well, I'm just getting to know you, but I can tell right away that you have the drive to make it, which is the most important thing. A lot of people have things to say. A lot of people are smart. A lot of people are good at this and quit and they give up because it's hard. It's really, really hard. It really is. But you got it, man. So I'm glad to say that.
Yeah, well, and hey, I definitely agree with that. I know I definitely have a ton of personal anxiety about just trying to work in this. So hey, I'll get into what I have to say though, because I appreciate you taking my call, man.
There's no one in line, so we can just make it a whole show.
Oh, shit. Okay, hey, I'll go for an hour or two.
Yeah,
we can do this.
Yeah.
No, I wanted to first start off with, I was looking at your off-season plan, kind of trying to see if there's anything I could add to it. One thing I wanted to point out, which I want you to start banging the drum on, because like I tweeted at you earlier with McGlinchey, you got an influence, so you can make things happen.
I tried. Yeah.
Post June 1, Eric Armstead does not need to be on this team, and it's going to hurt this team if he's on this team.
So you're talking about cutting Eric Armstead?
So cutting him would be an option. I don't think I would do it, but trading him would be ideal because it would actually, I think, help you out money-wise the most, if I'm correct.
Okay, let's see. The cut post-truth, yeah, that helps, but the trade is better.
Trade is much better. So, yeah.
Trading is better.
I was just pulling up as you were too, man. So, if you can trade him post-June 1 for, like, anything, it's a win. And not only is it a win for this season because you save a little bit of money, but where it really helps is for the next 3 years, you get 15 million. So after this year, you get 15 million on 22 added to it for your cap. You get 16 million added to 23 and 18 million added to 24. So it makes zero logistical sense to keep Eric Armstead on this team.
And it's necessary to create this cap space because it's starting to look like they're not going to get rid of Dee Ford. It's not going to be that easy.
Yeah.
So if you can't create the space there, where are you going to create it?
And that's some of the worst news I think that's came out recently is that because of what's going on with the Dee Ford thing, it caps the Niners so much more, and they don't have as much leverage or opportunity as I thought they would have. So based off that, something I wanted to talk about with you for maybe changing your offseason plan is I think a lot of teams are going to look at this offseason as an opportunity to bargain hunt and go after all these guys who are going to get cut, like I've talked about before. And I think the Niners themselves are going to, like you were saying earlier on your channel, they're saying to themselves, oh, we were injured. We're this close. We can make it, when in reality, they're like I totally agree with what you were saying, to where they have a Rams type of cap to them. They're not going to be better than 11-5, and that's super optimistic. And even if they get to that point, how far are they going to go in the playoffs? It's
okay. So let's talk about this Eric Armstead idea. I like it. I got his over the cap up right here. So let's look. Let's walk through it. The way I see it is, I would want to trade him now because he's still cheap, but I think he might still have value now. Like, people might still think he's really good. And if you keep him for another year, he has another 3-sack season, and his salary jumps to 20 million. You're screwed, and you're stuck with him. So trading him this year doesn't create that much cap now, that's the thing. Like, it doesn't create a lot now. So his cap number is 12.5 million. It would create 7.5 million. That's significant. Yeah. That's a good starter. Maybe that's 2 starting guards, but where you create it is down the line. And what you do is you get value for a guy who may not have value much longer. I see him as a contract year wonder. I wonder how he's a good player. Does he love it? Does he play that hard consistently? I don't know.
Well, and here's the thing.
Is he a leader?
Yeah, I think there's a ton of questions to him regarding that. But then also, if you just look at it money wise, he's at his peak. He's going to be making 8-9% of the cap. Even if he's 25% better than he was the Super Bowl year, he's still not worth it. I mean, so that just seems like such a no-brainer thing to me. And when I was looking over our cap, I'm like, this would be a travesty if they kept him. It would just be admitting that they want to keep running it back until they can just figure it out, which clearly, like you've talked about, isn't the way to win in the NFL. You have to look at your team and try to get better.
Agreed. And with Armstead, what I would do, I'm cynical, but it's the same thing I would do with Bosa. I would call Robert Saleh.
Yeah.
Hey, Robert, you love Eric Armstead. It was your idea to keep Eric Armstead over DeForest Buckner. I remember, I don't know if it was, but I'm just, you love Eric. I've heard what you've said about Eric Armstead, the smartest defensive lineman.
Or hey,
all this film.
Yeah. Call the Colts and say, hey, you want to pair him up with DeForest Buckner? Or that's the thing. If I'm trying to trade Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead, any of these defensive linemen, I'm calling the Colts, I'm calling the Jets, I'm calling all these teams. So I think Eric Armstead has to go. But
what do you think he'd be worth? What do you think you can get for him?
I think maximum third. I think that would be really rich too. I don't think they would get that, quite frankly. And I think that would be for the team that looks at him the most ideally, even. So,
and that's why I think the Niners probably won't do it. So here's another way you can do it. And I think the Niners are maybe figuring this out. It's embarrassing to trade Jimmy Garoppolo by himself right now because you don't get that much back for him. It's embarrassing, and you lose because you traded a second for him. Everyone will do them. It's obvious. You can do the math, the comparison. If you trade McGlinchey by himself, it's embarrassing. You drafted him with the 9th pick and you get a 5th round pick back. I think what you do is what the Rams did with Goff. Put him in a package. That way you don't know exactly what he's worth.
I was thinking exactly that as you were saying it, Grant. I was
in a package.
If you look at the way the Rams, what they did with Jared Goff, they didn't attach anything to his value. You don't know what he's worth, and I don't think anyone does. And there's also a lot of stuff about how the Lions GM was at the Rams before and all this stuff. It's like it's such a mystery how much Jared Goff is actually worth. So I think, and this is something you were talking about earlier and something I want to get to before I get off, is like the Niners, I think, are going to go into the season Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch front office will say to themselves, okay, we're all the injuries happened. We're so close. We just need to make these couple moves so we can get to the promised land. So we can get that Super Bowl that we were so close to getting. That's not the reality of where the Niners are at. So, man, I think they're going to try and go all in. I think
when they should be reloading.
That's the thing.
They should be reloading for 2022.
If you take one step back this year to take 2 steps forward in 22, that would really pay off, because if you say to yourself, okay, I'm going to use these draft picks for the best player available and for positions we need. And that's the way you really build a successful team.
Younger, cheaper, healthier, because you have an injury problem. Stop blaming that on bad luck. Do something about it.
Well, and NFL teams don't build well when they're desperate. And right now, the 49ers, say what you will, but they're kind of desperate to get back to the Super Bowl, because if they don't, like you've been saying, there's going to be a lot of questions if Kyle has another losing season.
It's true.
So I think, while the contract might afford him that length to be like, oh, I'm going to take a quarterback, at the same time, they're going to say to themselves, oh, we have to win now. We have to win now. So I don't know, man. I'm a little pessimistic right now.
Okay, well, before I let you go, let's circle back to where we started with Armstead.
Okay.
If we're going to put him in a package trade, well, let's come back to Deshaun Watson, because I think I think it's pretty clear the Niners' attitude with Watson is we want to be in on that. If we want to be one of the finalists, we're interested. They may not ultimately choose our trade package, but that's a clear upgrade, and we could sell that to the locker room, to the fans. And we see Peter King had a 7-player pick package today, and it was interesting. The players he picked wouldn't be the players I picked. I don't think. I mean, but let's sit with Armstead. Would he have value? I think he would have. If you say he's worth a 3rd-round pick, then he has value in that trade. Make them take him. You take Eric.
Well, in Grant, so here's the other thing with Eric Armstead I want to note is if you trade him pre-June 1, it's way worse than trading him post-June 1. And I think with Watson, is it the same thing? I don't know.
I think it will be about the same thing for Watson, because Watson's not particularly expensive. Hold on, let me hold on.
Yeah. Well, no. So what I was just going to point out with that, you don't want to trade Eric Armstead pre-June 1 because it's actually negative $9 million on your cap. Instead, you want to get that. I think. Let me just pull this up. I think it's like, okay, it's an extra 7.5 of wiggle room, which is great.
Oh, actually, with Deshaun Watson, there is $21 million in dead cap pre-June 1 trade, and $5 million in dead cap post June 1. So it just works out great for both. That's one of the things I don't think people have. Now that I look at it, maybe part of the reason the Texans aren't doing anything yet is because
they can't. They can't.
Look, I'm looking at it right here. Pre-June, his cap number is 15.9, and his dead cap number is 21.6 pre-June. So he's more expensive to them if they trade him before June. He's more expensive if they trade him before June 1 than if they keep him on the team the whole year. It actually costs them $6 million.
Yeah.
More than just having him play. You would never do that.
Yeah, no.
Never do that. So you're paying a premium to put him on another team. A $6 million premium. No. So yeah. Oh, we just had an epiphany. Deshaun Watson's going to get traded after June 1.
Yes.
It could be the Niners who get him. And Eric Armstead should be in that deal.
Well, and just real quick rant. I know all the other trade packages is like Carolina with the 8th pick, right? That's something where this could really work out in the Niners' favor if they're going to do post June 1, because that means it doesn't matter where you are in the draft. And right now, that's the Niners' biggest disadvantage is they have 12th overall and they're kind of stuck in a place where you can't get the quarterback you want, but it still feels like you're in striking position for a quarterback.
Right. So the package might not even include 2020 picks.
Right.
2021 picks. It could be 2022 picks and players.
Exactly.
And if Houston's like, look, we just don't want to take the financial hit of trading him now. We'll wait till June 1, take picks next year and players. All of a sudden, that really improves the Niners' position.
And I know Chris Sims, he has some old connections with New England. He specifically said when he was doing his old Deshaun Watson things this morning that got a little bit of traction that Nick Caserio would definitely like having Jimmy Garoppolo back. So
Who said that? Who said that?
Chris Sims.
Okay. My cynical interpretation is that Chris Sims and Kyle Shanahan are best friends. And Kyle Shanahan would like nothing more than to find a trade destination for Jimmy Garoppolo. And Chris is doing a solid. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But they have each other's initials tattooed on their ankles.
They do, and that's fair to point out. But also, I wanted to point out Chris Sims did work in New England for 2 years.
No, Chris Sims legit. I'm just saying. No,
I know, but it's fair to point out when realizing what Chris Sims is saying because he has his bias. And listen, I like his work. I loved what he used to do with Adam Lefkoe back in the day.
He's good.
And they do great.
He's really good.
Anyway, I just thought that was something to think about.
Well, thank you. Two things. I'm going to turn this into 2 videos on my channel. One is the need to trade Eric Armstead, and 2, why the Niners can get Deshaun Watson after June 1. That is brilliant. And we just, boom, the epiphany hit. Ben, every time you come on the show, you get better, man. You are a baller.
Hey, I know it all takes time with reps, just like a quarterback.
It does.
Like any other thing. You
read that book by Malcolm Gladwell, The Outliers? It's all about getting 10,000 hours of experience before 35. That's what you want to do. That's what I'm on the mission to do. You're going to get there. How old are you?
I'm 21.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus. No, when I was 21, I was not doing any journalism. So good for you.
Well, hey, I appreciate it, Grant. Keep up the good work. You know how I feel about you, man. But you definitely
about you too, man.
You definitely give a lot of people out there hope, and just keep sticking with it, man.
Because you gotta say, sports journalism is it's really tough to crack into, and there's not a lot of people trying to tell you how to do it.
Exactly.
So stick with it. You got it, man. All right, man. See you next time. 21-year-old Ben Meyerson. God, I love him, man. Sebastian, what's up?
What's up, Grant?
How you doing, man?
Yeah, my question for you was, if the Niners stick with Jimmy G next year and they lose, is Lynch on the hot seat?
Ooh.
Or does his team get warmer at least?
Let's put it this way. Oh, you say you mean no, I think it's a great question. Sub 500?
Yeah, sub 500. Under 500.
I think the answer is yes. I would go further. I think Kyle Shanahan would be on the hot seat too. Now, remember, the hot seat doesn't mean you get fired. The hot seat doesn't mean you get fired. The hot seat's like you're one more bad season away from getting fired. That's what I always read the hot seat. It's like you're on timeout. You're on suspension.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say both of them because that's a joint decision. How could you just put that on Lynch? Right?
Wow. Yeah, I guess.
I mean, think about it. Kyle Shanahan at that point would be 4 losing seasons in 5 years. How could he not be on the hot seat?
Yeah, but you get kind of worried because, if I'm not like Kyle Shanahan, if you let him go and he goes on to another team and starts winning or wins a Super Bowl, then that's going to be terrible.
Yeah. So maybe they do scapegoat John Lynch. Here's the thing. If they have a losing season next season, someone might get fired. You know, I'm not saying it's Kyle, but it could be Lynch. They might just bypass the hot seat and fire him. I don't know who, but that would be pretty big because, again, 4 losing seasons in 5 years, that's not happening with the Rams. I bet you Sean McVay is going to have a winning record next. They're not going to win the Super Bowl, but they're going to be good. And if the Niners can't even get to the good level, you wonder what's going on there. Someone might get fired. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think they might put it on Lynch, you know? Like Kyle is like, okay, let me get another year with my quarterback, the quarterback I choose. I never wanted Jimmy, and he runs it back another year.
So you're saying that Kyle would throw John Lynch under the bus. You know what?
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's actually really realistic. That's the kind of stuff. That's what happens in the NFL. Everyone blames someone else. Hey, I didn't. That was him. That was his fault. That's how the NFL works. It's not a culture of accountability. It's a culture of blame. I did not want this player. John Lynch forced him on me. When the reality is Kyle Shanahan gets whatever he wants. It's his team. But I think you're right. I think if Jed York's looking at it, he's thinking, God, I can't replace Kyle. And John Lynch, I mean, what does he really do for us? So you know what, John? You're taking the fall for this one. Sorry. Taking the fall. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's
dirty game.
If they go below 500, I think that's what's going to happen.
You're taking. He might just step away. He might be like, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. Because you know they promoted that Adam Peters to assistant GM. It almost feels like they're dying to get Adam Peters in that GM role anyway.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that they promoted him.
Yeah.
And I don't know, because Shanahan, you know, he's always been complaining about Jimmy, always saying, "Oh, I didn't choose him. I didn't want him." And now,
in so many words, he hasn't said that exactly, but he's basically said, "Yeah, you know, they approached us with an offer. John Lynch said yes. I said yes, and I immediately went into a depression." And when he talks about Jimmy, he's like, "He's good for an inexperienced quarterback." And when he talks about Kirk Cousins, it's like, "Oh my God, he's as good as any quarterback in the league. He's an ultimate pro. He always makes the right decision." It's like, okay, dude. All right, well, we know how you feel. Well, yeah, you know what? Maybe John Lynch gets fired and Kyle Shanahan gets elevated to general manager and head coach and makes a trade for Kirk Cousins he's always wanted to. It's possible.
Yeah, but yeah, Kyle. I think that's what's gonna happen if they lose. But
I think you're probably right, man. Thank you for bringing some reality to this show. Yeah, John, if you're watching, watch out. These owners ain't loyal. You got to win this year, baby. Good stuff, dude.
All right. Praise up to your dad. Peace out.
Thank you. He'll be home on Friday, everyone. He's coming home Friday. What you need to know about my pops is he's been in the rehab facility almost 2 weeks. He'll be home on Friday. He's making good progress. Before I take the next call, Patrick Moody said to make more cap room, to sign some free agents, trade or cut Jimmy, Tomlinson, Richburg, and Zaucha, Ford, and Armstead. Yep, agree with all of that except for Ford. Ford has to pass a physical before the Niners can get rid of him, and he can't pass a physical. Plus, oh yeah, they're stuck with Ford. Sorry about that. Good call, Patrick. Dan, you're on the show. Going once. Going twice. Caleb.
Hey, Grant.
Hold on. Dan, are you ready? I tried, Dan. Are you ready? Dan.
Treed.
What's up? That was weird. All right, sorry, Caleb.
Hey.
How you doing?
How much cap space do the 49ers have?
Let me tell you right now. Okay, hold on. It's saying overthecap.com is saying they got $13.3 million in cap space. I'm not a capologist. I don't think there are capologists, but if there are, I'm not one. But over the cap says $13.3 million. How does that sound to you?
I mean, what I don't understand is that if we have $13 million and then we cut Weston Richburg, that would give us $18 million. That might not even be enough to bring back Trent Williams.
Right. Agree.
So I mean, really cannot do much at all this offseason.
Yeah. How do you, right. If you have 13 million and then you create, because the thing about Trent Williams is he'll probably be 23 million a year, but the way they structure these contracts is like the first 2 years can be kind of cheap usually. Like look at Eric Armstead's. They'll backload it. They could backload a bunch of stuff. But how many – I mean, George Kittle's is backloaded. Armstead's is backloaded. How many backloaded contracts can you give out before you kill yourself?
Well, yeah, that's why I'm not sure if they can backload it.
Right.
But then even if you do backload it, like he's not going to be that cheap. You're really not –
I don't want to sign Trent Williams. I think he's too expensive. I don't think he gives you any leadership for the money you're getting.
Well, that's why I think we just cannot bring back Jimmy Garoppolo this season because
now you're going to lose people. Yeah,
we can't bring in anyone without Jimmy Garoppolo.
You know what kind of scares me is when they're showing like Fred Warner in trades. You know, like Peter King had him in a trade. Like they're not going to trade Fred Warner the way they traded DeForest Buckner, will they?
Yeah,
they might. I don't know.
I'd rather give up Bosa than Warner.
Yeah, because Bosa. Yeah, I agree. I think Bosa gets more, brings back more in a trade than Warner. Bosa has injury issues. Warner doesn't. Bosa's going to cost twice of what Warner's going to cost in a few years. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I mean, I just basically, if you bring back Jimmy this year, you are going to have a lot of holes in the team.
Yeah, because of him. And you're going to let people leave who are better than Jimmy. And that's what happened last year.
You might not have a real center.
You couldn't afford Emmanuel Sanders because Jimmy's on the team and Sanders is better than him. So, and he's cheaper, better, can't afford him. Jimmy's making $27 million. That's tough.
If you bring Jimmy back, you probably don't have a center, don't have a corner.
Yep. And then he gets hurt again, and then he has more excuses.
Don't have a right tackle.
Yep. So where is the money coming from? Not from D Ford. It has to come from Jimmy. It has to come.
Yeah, it has to. He just can't be on the team.
Yeah. Sorry, Jimmy. It's nothing personal. Caleb, good stuff. Thank you. I'll talk to you next time. He just bounced. What's up? Sunil, how you doing? You there? Can you hear me?
What's up, dog?
What's up? You're a little glitchy, man. Why don't you leave and call back in? I'll put you right in the front of the map. Hold on. Leave and go back in. You're a little cutting in. You're cutting in and out.
All right, sounds good.
I'll put you in the front of the line. Just try reset your connection.
All right, cool.
We're gonna wait for Sunil for a second because Sunil's and then Niners all day. You're next, and then Richard, and then AJ, and then Alex. You guys are all gonna be on the show. Don't you worry. I'm just waiting for Sunil because Sunil is one of the. You want me to? Oh, the link. Yeah, I got you. Boom. There's the link. If you didn't get it, the link is also in the description. I'm gonna give Sunil a couple more minutes. He be DMing me. He's a smart dude. He was one of the first dudes who was talking about trading Eric Armstead. Smart guy. But he's not back. I'm going to give him 10 more seconds, and then I'm going to go to Niners all day. 9. Oh. Nope. That's not him. All right. Niners all day. What's up? How you doing, man?
How you doing? First things first. Good thing your dad is okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's look in the past where the 49ers not recently, but in the past, the 49ers tried to sign Le'Veon Bell, but didn't because they got outbid by the Jets. Do you think John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan would try to make a push for Aaron Jones?
That's a really good point. I thought you were going to say they're going to make a push for Le'Veon Bell. I hope not because he stinks now.
Yeah, past his prime.
It passed his prime, but Aaron Jones, kind of the same idea, right? Like he's in his prime. He's one of the best running backs in the league, probably the best running back on the market. And the Niners are the team that spent all that money on Jerick McKinnon.
Mm-hmm.
Have they changed their philosophy, or did Jerick McKinnon just not work out in their eyes? Probably that.
Yeah.
I think that Kyle Shanahan is always looking to spend a lot of money on running backs. I don't think he's changed on. His dad didn't. He does. So Aaron Jones, from his perspective, you see him in the same system. You know he would fit. And by signing him, you'd be weakening a rival. I think it makes sense in Kyle Shanahan's head. I wouldn't do it because he's a running back and you're going to be paying him a lot of money and he's going to get hurt because running backs get hurt. But I think Kyle Shanahan absolutely would sign Aaron Jones if they could afford it.
Yeah, of course.
Smart, man. I don't think people are anticipating what Kyle could do there. I mean, anyone who gave $30 million to Jerick McKinnon might and wanted to sign Le'Veon Bell would look at Aaron Jones and be like, well, you're better than both of them.
Yeah, he's good at the passing game and running game.
He's a flat out stud. He's a lot like Raheem Mostert, but better. He's not as fast as Mostert, but he's kind of upright like that. I don't know.
For the 49ers' eyes, they can have a triple punch with Jeff Wilson, Aaron Jones, and Raheem Mostert.
I don't know how they afford him. If they sign Aaron Jones, they don't sign Trent Williams or Jason Verrett, maybe not even Fred Williams. But again, it's not what they should do. You asked, do you think they will? And when I thought about it, I was like, that definitely sounds like something Kyle Shanahan would do. It 100% does.
Yeah. Let's go. One more. Should the 49ers trade for Watson if they have a good trade package right now and then wait next year? Or if the Patriots release Stephon Gilmore? Like, should they trade for them next season? I mean, should the 49ers sign Stephon Gilmore next year and trade for Watson this year?
Well, Gilmore, I don't know. That's a year down the line. I would sign Xavier Rhodes now. That's a veteran corner who's available now that I always liked, and he's big. But what's the question on Watson?
Would you trade? I was going to say because, would you trade for Watson if it's a good package, like Nick Bosa, Jimmy G, the 12th pick, and the 2nd, or more?
It would have to be like, okay, it would have to be say it happens after June 1st. It would have to be a first next year, a first year after that. Eric Armstead, Nick Bosa. It would be so much. I don't know. I just think it's a lot. I think it's hard to give all that up and still build a Super Bowl winning team. It's not, are you good with Deshaun Watson? It's, do you win the Super Bowl? And even with him, after giving up all those assets, I think it's hard. I don't know.
Patrick Mahomes did a very good example of that in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, good point. Thanks for coming on the show, man.
You too. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure. All right. Sunil never showed back up. So, oh well. Let's keep it moving. Richard.
Oh my God, what's up for you?
Good. How you doing?
Doing well. Sort of, well, I wouldn't say a question perhaps, but I've been looking into Robert Saleh lately, right? And I see that, when I think about his fit with the Jets and how it's a big loss for us, I see that he might be probably the best Jets hire since Rex Ryan and probably ever when you think about what he brings to the table, right? His philosophy, his leadership skills, and everything else that he has. I mean, I even heard his talent evaluations, and it sounds like he knows personnel pretty well. And how would that help us on our? How would Kyle Shanahan benefit from his?
I'm sorry, you cut out a little bit at the end. What was the question about Kyle Shanahan and Saleh?
Okay, I'm sorry. So how would Shanahan benefit from his departure?
How will Shanahan benefit from Saleh's departure?
Yes.
I don't know that he will. Why do you think he would?
Based on, so when you think about it, Saleh is pretty much, he's the second coach on the field, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think when Shanahan is on the field, he's more of a coordinator. I think he lets Saleh pretty much set the tone for not only the defense, but the rest of the team.
Yeah, he brings energy. Yeah.
He could either benefit from that, considering that now he's the head honcho, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's the main guy. Now he could focus on just getting the team prepared and letting the offense coordinator do most of the dirty work, which is prepare for the.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's like removing the crutch that is Robert Saleh's leadership and taking that role on himself and delegating more offensive play calling duties, game planning duties to Mike McDaniel, who seems to be ready for it. I think that's a good point.
Yes.
This is the moment for Kyle to become the head coach we think he can be.
Exactly. That's how I think there's a lot of upsides to him leaving, but also it's going to hurt our defense. I think it's going to make DeMeco Ryans' job kind of a little bit more, let's say like Robert Saleh, like year one, it's going to be a little bit like that. Mm-hmm. But moving forward, I think Shanahan could benefit, but we'll see.
I think it's a really interesting point.
Yeah. Another question too, Grant. So about the offseason, I think when I look at it, I heard that we couldn't really get rid of Ford, which kind of sucked because he kind of has like the whole cap space kind of taken up aside from Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we, moving forward, how do we adjust any other type of cap space then if we can't get rid of Ford and probably go after, like, let's say, re-signing Trent Williams or anybody like that?
Yeah, it's a great question. There's an answer. I think I have it. It has to come from Jimmy. And there's two different ways. Either the Niners cut Jimmy and create the cap space that way, or they keep Jimmy and extend and restructure his deal and create the cap space that way. They've been riding the fence. The structure of this deal was not designed for them to keep it going this far. Like it's designed that you could get out of it or extend it by now. You cut them or you extend them by now. And they've just ridden the fence. We don't know what to do. We don't like them enough to extend them. We don't hate them enough to cut them. And so what you have is this really, really expensive guy. If you keep him, just say, look, we're going to give you a 2-year extension. We're going to give you a little signing bonus. We're going to tie ourselves financially to you a little bit more and make you financially, fit our salary cap now. I think that's what they should do if they don't get rid of him. It has to be from Jimmy. Do you agree?
You know what? When I think about it, when I think about quarterbacks in the draft and free agents, it just depends. I think we could stick with Jimmy. I just think we have to build our offensive line. I think that line is really horrible, especially in the inside.
Yeah.
And McGlinchey, oh my God. I think when you mentioned him, and then I actually seen a game where he actually just played horribly. I said, oh my God, he's so right. He cannot pass protect for anybody. It's so bad. And
he chokes. Like, you talk about players. I was talking about this with Vish on the phone the other day. Today, you talk about quarterbacks choking. What about offensive tackles who consistently give up the sack that loses the game in the fourth quarter?
Yeah,
that's choking. That's him.
I seen that, and I said, "Oh my God, it's so true." And I tried giving him this year it's kind of different because he has to pass check every freaking game now because we're always passing the ball more than we should. But still, that's his job, and he just not that good.
That's your job, dude. Yeah. I mean, it'd be one thing if he was a 5th-round pick and they knew that he had those limitations coming out of college, but no, you took him with the 9th pick. He was supposed to be some all-around stud. That's why you took him that high. Yeah. You spent a premium on him to be great, and he's not.
Yeah. And then so now we're stuck with him probably for another few years, and now we got to probably prioritize getting another left tackle, which is kind of difficult to do considering we just traded for one, and now we might have to pay him a lot of money, and he might not want to come back. So we're kind of in a tough spot. I
don't know how they're going to figure this out. I'm glad I don't have to do it.
It's so complicated. I mean, Trent Williams, he's good. But the thing I had with him was that ever since we got rid of Joe Staley, right? I mean, has our offensive line really been better since Staley left? No, it hasn't. And it was falling apart even with Staley. And so we need that leadership, and I don't think we have it at all.
No, that's why I look at Trent Williams. For what you're paying, the best player on the offensive line needs to be the leader of the offensive line. He needs to be. You can't have this. You can't be like, hey, no, I'm going to delegate that to Laken Tomlinson. No, dude, it's you. And if for what they're paying, or they're going to pay him, it's 21, 22 million a year. How can he not take on that role and take it seriously? Staley did it for 11 million a year.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't even know how they're going to.
You can't have the best player in your offensive line setting the tone that we're all out. We're all out for ourselves here. I'm concerned with my play. You're responsible for your play. You can't have that. He needs to be holding people accountable the way Joe Staley did.
Exactly. And that starts with the whole line, and there's just no leadership there. And now, I don't even know. The draft, I think they could probably look towards the lineman, but at their pick at 11, I don't really see a lineman really being viable unless it's an offensive tackle. Yeah. And then again, I haven't really scouted the tackles yet, so I don't even know who's good. Except
look at Rashawn Slater. I think he could play guard and move to tackle when McGlinchey loses the job. Yeah. Look at Rashawn Slater.
Rashawn Slater. And quarterback too. What are we going to do there if we don't resign Barrett? I mean,
I don't know. They have a million free agents, dude. And not enough cap space. I don't know what they're going to do, man. J.C. Horn, but that's another first round.
Very interesting. I think this offseason is going to determine how they're going to draft, right? And how their season is going to look.
No question.
Yes. Thank you, Grant.
Thanks for coming on, man.
I want to be on so long. All
right. Appreciate you. Thank you. Jonas real quick says, what player do you think is going to land on the Niners, making it hard to pass on, even if it's not a need? Kyle Pitts, the tight end from Florida. That guy's really good. The Niners really don't need a tight end. I mean, they have the best tight ends in the league. George Kittle's a stud. Ross Dwelley, probably one of the best backups in the league. Very Cameron Brate-ish. Cameron Brate just won a Super Bowl with the Bucs. They don't need a tight end, but Kyle Pitts is a stud. So, yeah, that would be the guy. Good question. AJ.
Hey, Garrett, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Good, good. So piggybacking off the last discussion, do you think Jimmy would be open to restructuring his contract so the cap hit would be less and there'd be more room for other players?
I think he would, because you're not asking him to take a pay cut. You're giving him a signing bonus. So you're putting more money in his pocket. Let me write you a check. Let me advance some of this money into your bank account right now. And we will tie ourselves financially to you, meaning if we cut you next year, there would be a bigger dead cap hit than now. It would make it more in our interest to keep you. So I think from Jimmy Garoppolo's perspective, he'd be into it because you get money in your hand and you get some stability. You don't have to worry about, am I going to get cut next year? Now, the reason the Niners wouldn't do it is they might want to cut him next year. And what I say is, if you want to cut him next year, cut him now. Do it now. Make up your mind. One of the two.
Yeah. And the other thing is, a lot of mock drafts I've been seeing recently have the top 4 quarterbacks being Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance going before the Niners. And in addition to that, the 2 top quarterback prospects in Caleb Farley and Patrick Surtain. So, like, in the case that they all go before 12, what do you see the Niners doing with the 12th overall pick?
I think they should go offensive line. I think Rashawn Slater would be a great pick for them. He could play guard. He could play tackle. He's better than Laken Tomlinson. He's better than Mike McGlinchey. He'd be a good pick. So that's what I would do. And the fact that then I saw Peter King put Mike McGlinchey in a hypothetical trade today gives me hope that the Niners are thinking along the same lines. They got to know that Mike McGlinchey, while he's serviceable in their run blocking scheme, he's not what they want. It's not what they had in mind when they drafted him with the 9th pick. And now they're in the same spot in the draft, 12th, 9th, not that far away. Get the replacement. Get the guy you thought you were getting when you drafted McGlinchey. I think there's hope for that.
All right. That's all I got, Grant. Thanks.
Good stuff, AJ. Alex, what's up? You there? Mr. Alex? Your audio wasn't working. Big Sam, you there?
Hello?
Is this Big Sam?
You hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, what's up, Grant?
What's up, Big Sam?
Nothing much.
Can't
really think of anything right now. Do you think that it's worth it to bring back Verrett? Do you think he's that big of a
he's a hell of a player when he's healthy.
Yeah.
I think I was sold when he shut down DeAndre Hopkins week 16. Only thing with him is he's going to not be cheap, and he's 30 and he has that injury history. So what do you think?
Yeah, that's the thing, because we brought him in. He had no value at all. And he got hurt again in 2019. Then we, for some reason, brought him back, and it ended up paying off. But I just don't know. He's 30, like you said. I don't know if we can trust him to.
So I think basically the way you handle it is you approach him with a certain number, right? And I guess I'm guessing the Niners already have. And I'm guessing it isn't what he wanted because he would have accepted it already. So he's going to go test free agency. And the thing is, that's usually bad news for the Niners, because California teams can't really compete in free agency unless they're seen as Super Bowl contenders because of the taxes. Mm-hmm. So he's going to go, he wants to he missed out on money, right? He was a first round pick who was really good and didn't get the money he was due because he got hurt. So now he's not going to give the Niners a discount. He's going to he's going to go the highest bidder. And it's possible the Niners won't be that. It could be a team in a tax-free state like Florida or Nevada or Washington. You know what I mean? It could be the Seahawks.
Yeah. Also, do you think that it's worth it? Do you think it's really worth it to bring in a running back in free agency?
No, absolutely not. I wouldn't do that. But the previous caller was thinking, do you think they will? And that's a more cynical line of thought. The guy who signed Jerick McKinnon and Tevin Coleman is and we wanted to sign Le'Veon Bell is always liable to do that. I mean, I think the two biggest contracts given to running backs the past 5 years are Le'Veon Bell in New York and Jerick McKinnon on the Niners. Yeah. That's all we're saying. I think Kyle seems like he doesn't have any problem spending on free agent running backs.
Yeah, we don't need a big name running back in our system at all. It's not.
No, his dad understood that. He has his dad's running backs coach, and yet he's dying to give 4-year, $30 million contracts to Jerick McKinnon. Make it make sense, Big Sam. I don't get it.
Me neither.
All right, man. Thanks for coming on.
All right. Thank you for having me.
For sure. The next caller is a very special guest. He is the head coach of the 49ers. His name is Kyle Shanahan. Kyle, thanks for taking some time out of your day. How are you?
Hey, no problem. I've just been doing nothing. Ready to sign Aaron Jones.
Oh, is it going down? Are you convinced?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. We figured it out. We know what you're doing before you know what you're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. I was just wondering. I mean, my whole philosophy is like, you just gotta overload the offensive line. I mean, you see the Browns. I mean, their offensive line is so good, and I mean, Baker Mayfield's doing fine. I mean,
that's exactly what Kevin Stefanski did for that team. Is like, hey, we're gonna fix this offensive line, put the quarterback under center, roll him
exactly.
Out.
I mean, like I'm looking up some like best offensive line available. I mean, let's see. There's Alex Mack, right? There's also like what about Joe Thuney?
Yeah, good player, going to be expensive.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
hell of a player.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of available offensive linemen, and I mean, if you trade like, let's say Nick Bosa for the 2nd pick, right?
Yep.
And then you trade down again to like the 10th pick, you get.
That's a lot. That's far, but you could trade down to the 4th pick.
Yeah,
maybe and get Penei Sewell.
Get like the Penei Sewell guy, right?
That's what I want to do. First of all,
exactly.
That's what I want to do. Yes.
Yeah,
and then I would double up and get Rashawn Slater at 12. Get them both.
Exactly. I mean, you can get so much, and then I mean, and if you, let's say you do all that, right? I mean, you cut Jimmy, right? That saves like what 20 something.
25.
I mean, and then you you sign, I don't know, some random guy. I mean,
Marcus Mariota, Andy Dalton, whoever.
Yeah, whatever.
Patrick, whatever.
I mean, and Nick Mullins is making $500,000 a year. Like,
no, if they bring him back, he'll be probably making $3 million. He's unrestricted. He's not restricted.
I still want to see him have a chance because I mean the only times he's been playing are with a horrible offensive line,
right?
And like
Debo out, people out.
Exactly. I mean, I've seen some flashes from him, like the way he escapes the pocket and finds people.
The way he throws downfield.
Yeah, exactly.
I would like to see a full-blown quarterback competition between Josh Rosen, Nick Mullins, and a rookie. Like, roll the balls out and let the best man win. Stop trying to project who's good when you don't even know.
Exactly.
You know, let him prove it. I like that idea. And Jimmy Garoppolo, go be someone else's backup.
Yeah, I mean, I heard there were these rumors on Instagram that the Patriots have talked to the 49ers about Jimmy Garoppolo.
Bet they have. I bet they have. The Niners.
I mean, just take a fifth for them.
Be patient. I'm sure the Niners don't like the offer they've gotten so far.
Yeah.
Well, Kyle, I wish you best of luck this year. If you do have another losing season, I'm going to have to put you on the hot seat. It's nothing personal, but you do your best work.
If I have another losing season, I might have to hire you as quality control.
Hey, if you hire me now, you won't have another losing season, baby.
Hey, we'll talk salary.
Have a good one, man.
All right, bye.
That was hilarious. Hey, how you doing, Zachy?
Hey, Grant. How are you? Can you hear me well?
Great, man. Yeah, absolutely. Nice man cave.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah.
So I had some questions about the report that the last guy was just talking about.
Yeah.
With the Patriots calling Jimmy G.
Mm-hmm.
So you've talked a lot about like why the Patriots might be interested in a reunion with Jimmy G.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really think they can like wait for Jimmy G to get cut because if we don't have a legitimate replacement, we probably won't cut him.
True.
So then, like, given the fact that we need a replacement, how likely do you think it is that a trade would get done? Because if we get a replacement before, then his trade value goes down. But then, we can't really like make the trade and then not have a replacement. You know what I mean?
Right. It seems to me that what Peter King is proposing is showing is that like what the Niners are hoping is that if they get an upgrade, that Jimmy Garoppolo is in the deal somehow, that he would be part of it. So if they were to get Deshaun Watson, that somehow Houston would want Garoppolo. Or if they were to get Kirk Cousins, somehow they could send Garoppolo to some other team in a 3-team deal. I think that's how they're looking at it. Does that make sense?
That makes sense, yeah. So it pretty much, by that logic, it pretty much can't work out with Patriots because they don't really have a quarterback to give us, right?
That's a really good point. So the Patriots may be looking at a rookie Maybe they'll draft a guy. You know,
Right.
maybe yeah. Good point.
Unless like a 3-team trade, like you were talking about, but I don't really know how often that happens in the NFL. I know in the NBA it happens a lot, but I don't know.
It's starting to happen more often. It's starting to happen more often. I don't know why, but you're seeing it. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And then, so if we do end up with Jimmy G and maybe Josh Rosen and then somebody else like a rookie or Sam Darnold or Nick Mullins, who would you start in preseason? And then could that affect who you're starting week 1?
I would give each quarterback a start in preseason.
Okay.
I would make it as even of a competition as possible. I would let Rosen play with the starters. I would want to see Mullins play with the starters. I would want to see the backup, the rookie play with the starters and the vet. So I don't know. I would want to give each one fair opportunity.
And if Josh Rosen does terrific in his one game, would you start him week 1?
Hell yeah, I would. I would start the winner of the competition, whoever did the best. Yes, I would.
Okay. I agree with you on that, and like that's what we would do. But what do you think the Niners would do in that case?
I don't think the Niners are going to cut Jimmy Garoppolo for Josh Rosen, Nick Mullins, a rookie, and a cheap vet, even though that's cool. I think they're going to stick with Jimmy unless they get Deshaun Watson or Kirk Cousins, which is just playing it way too safe, in my opinion. But I think that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, I agree, because it's tough. Because I mean, in the NFC West, it's pretty much like you can't like take the first half of the season to figure out who your quarterback is, right? You kind of need to
you'll be out of
quarterback right away. Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all I got. I just want to say thank you for everything you do, especially like engaging with us fans. I'm glad to hear that your dad's doing better. Like we can't wait for him to come back. Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much. Thanks for coming on the show. It's the first time I saw you. You're always welcome to come on. Strong call.
All right, for sure. Yeah.
Good stuff, dude. Have a good
one. All right, see you, Grant.
All right. Let's get Sunil.
What's up, dog? It's working.
Now you're working. It's working. What's up, man? How you doing?
Dude, first of all, good work last week, man. The reason you get paid the big bucks is somehow you got the Niners taking 5 out of the top 10 draft picks in this year's draft. You can't do that unless you're driving around in 2018 Kias, my guy.
Hey,
I love it.
Much nicer than a Kia, baby. Yeah.
So what I wanted to talk about is I think that the Niners need to have a little bit of a shift in how they're building the defense. Mm-hmm. I think that one thing that's happening in the NFC is we're seeing a lot of legit receivers, and it's starting to get like to the point where, I mean, you see Seattle has 2 number ones. We got D-Hop in Arizona that's, unguardable, and with just a regular cornerback. Like, I feel like we're putting a lot of effort into our D-line, but the people that are most productive aren't even our top draft picks. You know what I mean? They're getting injured or traded or whatnot.
So and you have this defensive line coach who specializes in turning nobodies into good players.
For sure. Yeah. And I think people are downplaying how horrible of an offseason Bill Belichick has had, because it's not just the fact that Tom Brady, the first year out, went to a new team and won a Super Bowl. It's also player after player after player that's coming out and saying, it's not the New England way, it was the Tom Brady way. And then backing that up with he actually going out and taking a team that didn't make the playoffs to actually winning a Super Bowl in less than a year.
That's right.
And, I think, people are talking about Cam going back there, but they had to change their whole system to put Cam in. Yeah. And I don't think they're patient enough to wait on a Mac Jones or whoever to actually get back up to contention and winning in that division. So I think that Jimmy Garoppolo is like very, very, like a very important piece to them to be able to get back into contention quick. At least that's what I would be thinking, because I don't think Bill Belichick could have another losing season or miss the playoffs and, feel good. He's old. You know what I mean? He's not like somebody that's going to be there for another 10 years to build back up. So that's I think really that
point. And he can't, his ego can't take another losing season.
Sure. And
Brady could win the Super Bowl again next year.
Absolutely. And also, I don't think that he has the energy to go through a full rebuild with getting a rookie quarterback and then building it back up that way. They have a lot of cap this offseason. That's why they didn't make any big moves last offseason. So I'm thinking there's already talk about them they have Stephon Gilmore there in the last year of his deal. They've already been talking about how they're not going to re-up him and give him a new contract. Mm-hmm. I think that, with Jimmy G being an asset in their eyes. If we package that with a second or a third round pick and go after Stephon Gilmore, pick him up, and then somehow re-sign Jason Verrett and have that as like our two corners, and then be able to like bring back cheaper D linemen and free agency or back end of the draft. I mean, I think that could be our new way of moving forward as far as building our defense. And even if we don't sign Verrett, Stephon Gilmore is around the same age, doesn't have the injury issues, and he needs a new contract anyways. Might as well. I'd rather give the money to him than to Verrett.
That's a good point, because again, you're going to have to bid for Verrett. Verrett's going to the highest bidder on free agency.
Right.
And he might become a little too expensive for your taste. If you're going to spend that kind of money, it's like, look, if I'm going to spend 40 grand, am I going to get a Toyota Camry or am I going to get a Kia Stinger? What are we talking here? You know what I'm saying? I'm getting that Stinger. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So yeah, no, I feel you on that. If the price, I like a Toyota Camry. That's a nice car, but there's a price for everything. And Jason, I'm not going to give you that Stinger money. So I think that's a really clever thing. If Jason gets too expensive, now you look at Stephon Gilmore. That's the place you want to trade. Create a package, Jimmy and a pick for Stephon Gilmore. That's interesting. Could work.
And I think it's actual feasible. I mean, I think he's only like $7 million to whoever trades for him this season, and then it would probably be like he has to get re-upped anyways. And he'd be somebody that could be out on an island with DK Metcalf, with with D-Hop and all these guys that we're dealing with in the NFC West as well. I think that, we could be looking for players like that versus just a pick. You know what I mean? I don't think a pick would be as necessary as if we could get a player like that.
I think it's brilliant. You're really good at this game. I like this. I like your suggestions. I think it's brilliant. I'm looking at his thing. He would only cost him like about $8 million, which is probably less than what Jason Verrett would cost him next year. Jason Verrett's probably going to be making 10, 11 million.
And I think an upgrade, because Verrett is great, but Gilmore's
better. And Gilmore doesn't have the injury history. Verrett could, God forbid, I don't want to speak it into existence, but Verrett could injure something at any time. Training camp, walking around at home, getting out of the bathtub. You know what I'm saying? I'm into it. If you want to trade, if you want to trade Jimmy back to the Patriots anyway, you want to get Stephon Gilmore, why not?
And I think this offseason is important because, or especially with the Jimmy G, there's going to be, his value is in the eye of the beholder, and he's going to be valued more to a Belichick than he's going to be valued to like the Bears or anybody else that might be looking at him. So might as well try to fleece Belichick when he's at his lowest point, in his career. Try to get as much out of it as possible, because like I said, I think people are downplaying how horrible. If there wasn't this Deshaun Watson business, everybody would be talking about how Bill Belichick's offseason is terrible. He doesn't have a quarterback. The people are turning against him. The quarterback he let go of went and won a Super Bowl. Like, I'm sure he's miserable right now thinking about
his stock is down.
Right.
His stock is down. He went from being, this guy's the greatest coach in football history, to this guy, was he a product of Tom Brady?
Right.
Was he yet another was he Bruce Arians with a bad attitude, with a frown on his face? I don't know.
What if he takes Jimmy G and Eric Armstead?
What if he takes Jimmy G, Eric Armstead, and Mike McGlinchey?
Dude, let him go. We just can't forget him. We'll take it.
Come on, Bill. Come on, Bill. No, I think you're right. I think it makes sense. He can't afford another losing season. Starting a rookie means another losing season, most likely.
Right.
Who's he gonna get? And he developed Jimmy.
With that new report that Mac Jones probably won't fall till past 8. I don't think he's going all in on a rookie to trade up and all that kind of stuff. And I think more and more, dude, with these reports coming out, trading Bosa for the 2 or the 3, that pick's going to turn into multiple first-round picks, because somebody's going to overpay to jump up into those rounds. And if you could get end up being 3 first-round picks for a Bosa because of future picks, because people are moving up and we're moving back. I don't know.
It's the move.
It's got to happen.
It's got to happen. I'm glad I saw
the rumors at. You ain't heard, is anybody talking about trading Bosa other than you?
I don't know. I keep calling the Niners and they don't answer my phone. So I got to just talk to him indirectly because I know they watch I know you're watching my show right now, Kyle. Don't act like you're not watching, Kyle. Answer my phone call, Kyle.
That's it. I thought you just talked to Kyle, but all right.
Hey, man, good stuff. I'm going to see if I can speak this stuff into existence.
All right. Sounds good, man.
Right, peace. Antonio Design says, do you think Darnold and Rosen will eventually be good? I do. I think they can. I think they can. I'm a little more optimistic on Rosen than Darnold, but that would put me in the minority. I feel like Darnold is a one-year wonder. He was good in 2016. He was not particularly good in 2017. And what he's been in 2017 is what he is now. Kind of like who's calling me? Kind of like Jameis Winston. Oh, his dad. I'm gonna call my dad in a minute but I'm gonna take a few more calls. There was one here from Almighty Juju. Where did Jimmy hate? Where did the Jimmy hate start? Because he took us to Super Bowl and only played half a season. I think he does well this season. And do you think the quarterback trainer is, or is it just our quarterback? Okay, hold on. Let me try. The Jimmy hate started because he lost the Super Bowl. That's just what it is. Niners have the highest standards. This isn't the Jaguars. It's not the Tennessee Titans. 5 Super Bowl Lombardi trophies, and he lost. That's where it started, and then it picked up steam when he played poorly week 1 and lost, and then it got real bad when he missed most of the season with an injury that a lot of quarterbacks might have played through. So that's it. He could play well this season, yes. The new quarterback coach couldn't hurt, yes. Good question, Almighty. I'm sorry if you feel like I hate on Jimmy too much. I'll try to be a little nicer in the future just for you. And if I'm being nice, I'm going to shout out Almighty Juju and be like, this is for Almighty Juju. This is for you. Yo, Ray, where you walking, man?
What's up, G?
What's up, man?
Man from work listening to
nice.
you. So, what I wanted to ask you is, do you think that the 49ers would make a huge mistake by giving up the farm for Deshaun when it seems like they're trying to make up for past mistakes? I feel like, there's this urgency to hurry up and get the superstar quarterback, but that window of getting the superstar quarterback coupled with the salary cap where he's going to take up, 15% every year? You think you're going to win with him every year? But like we've said, I don't see.
Oh, I lost you. Oh, you're back. You're back.
Yeah, I don't know how I didn't watch too much Texans games this year, but I know that he lost quite a few games.
That's right.
So what I'm worried about is, you can go all in on him, but you're not guaranteed to win anything. And I just feel like when you look back at it right now, a lot of teams are rushing to get Deshaun. But for me, what I look at with Kyle and John is drafting a quarterback and saving that salary cap seems like it's the biggest way to win a Super Bowl because you can invest in every other part of your team.
Yes. So, that's the way I look too. And again, if you have a coach like Kyle Shanahan who's supposed to be an offensive genius, why do you need to spend everything on a quarterback? Isn't he the kind of guy who can take a quarterback who's young, who isn't quite Deshaun Watson and win anyway? Isn't that what he's supposed to be able to do?
That's what it seems like. That's what it seems like. And I feel like if you look at what his record is, and I feel like that's kind of the problem, though, is when he looks real disgruntled and upset when he talks about Jimmy, it's because he knows, like, shit, I haven't won without Jimmy. Yeah. So it looks bad if he makes a decision. He's going to be, I guess, right and wrong no matter what, because if he gets another quarterback and he doesn't win, everybody's going to say, see, you shouldn't let go of Jimmy.
So dumb. It was so dumb.
Exactly.
Who your record with Jimmy?
Exactly. But anybody who watches Jimmy, and if you're a 49ers fan and you take the bias away, the problem I have with Jimmy are two things. Yeah, when he's healthy, he's good, but he's never healthy.
No.
And number two, somebody who was in that system since the end of 2017 should know the system inside and out.
Oh, yeah.
How do you still look lost in 2020?
I'll tell you how he still looks lost. He's not a smart football player. I'm not saying he's not a smart person because I don't know him like that. He's not a smart football player. I'm sorry. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
He's not.
So for me, looking at it, I know I heard you talking to Rich the other day, and something that you guys brought up that I think is very underrated with quarterbacks is guys who played baseball in the past. You look at a lot of the guys who have had success, Super Bowl winners, champions, quarterbacks, a lot of them have an extensive baseball history.
True. It's true.
So
Natural throwers.
Looking at this year, I was looking for the quarterbacks, and I know Justin Fields played college. I mean, he was getting recruited to go play college baseball as well, but he turned it down. I think COVID interrupted it or something too. So, yeah, looking at that, I'm more of people are really like negative about, hey, you shouldn't even think about trading Bosa. But my thing is, how many times is the team going to hold on to these injury-prone players and let the I guess their value decline before moving on?
That's what I'm saying. If you bring him back next year and he gets hurt again or is on a snap count and doesn't produce that much, you missed your opportunity. Now he's definitely labeled as injury prone, and that's what he's got the rest of his life.
Yeah, and we're not talking about little injuries. We're talking about major injuries this guy has suffered.
Yeah, you got a problem with Jimmy Garoppolo's injury history. You got to have an issue with Nick Bosa's because it's worse.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, I most people are saying, hey, when they're on the field, they're great, but that's the problem.
Right.
That's the problem.
And this year, like, well, the Niners, they just had a lot of injuries. It's not their fault. Well, at a certain point, you got to stop blaming bad luck and start to take some responsibility. What can you do to minimize these injuries? Maybe have like less injury-prone players.
Yeah, like the training staff scapegoat they used last time when they fired.
Oh, it's the training. No, dude, it's the players you bring in.
Exactly. It's like after a certain point, it's how many. I mean, I heard you and Cy talking the other day, and you guys were talking about how some of Kyle's risks and what he's been willing to do and it seems like
those are the risks.
Those are the risks, and you have not been rewarded on those. Yeah, you came close last year.
Verrett was one, but they didn't pay much for him.
Exactly. They didn't pay much for him, but what worries me about Verrett is it would be Kyle's luck that he would give Verrett the money, and Verrett doesn't even make it this season. It would
first day of training camp. Day of training camp. And he's done that before. I mean, I think some of his catastrophic injuries were like camp, mini camp. Yeah.
So we'll see. But for me, I think the Niners should, if they're going to make a move, I'd be okay with trading Bosa if I can get in that top 5. And I know a lot of people want us to trade back and accumulate more picks, which would be great. But if there's one of those quarterbacks up there, to me, this is the way I look at the draft right now for quarterbacks. It's a lottery every year. You don't know if you're going to hit. And if you don't get a ticket to that lottery, though, you miss out. So
you definitely don't hit.
If the Niners are in the top 12 this year, take your chance. Take your chance on it. You don't hit, you don't hit. But if you do draft a quarterback, to me, it gives you a little more flexibility in trying to trade or cut Jimmy with that post June 1st. Because you can draft a quarterback and you can play it off as, hey, they're gonna compete, they're gonna battle. But we know Kyle and John want to move on anyways. Right. But you can play it off that way by still keeping some value for Jimmy. So,
well, let me ask you this before you go: who do you think the quarterback would be at 12, and if you had to project it?
Looking at it right now, the only quarterback I think that's going to make it there is Lance, and
I agree.
I'm not a big fan of Lance.
Neither am I.
I see the limited playing at QB.
Yeah.
Very minimal starts. The guy's a really good athlete.
Yes.
But in terms of quarterbacking, if it were up to me and I'm going to pick that early, I'd rather go with either Justin Fields or Mac Jones. And if I'm not going to take those guys, then in the second round, I'm going Kyle Trask. Because here's the thing about Kyle Trask that I think is underrated. You keep hearing about, oh, he's got a noodle arm. Oh, he can't get the ball. Dude, if you watch his film, not everybody has to have a cannon of an arm. But if you can manipulate that pocket and you know where to go with the ball, you make up for those deficiencies. And I can see that in his game. He looks like
he can manipulate the pocket and he knows where to go with the ball.
Exactly. Yeah.
I like that about him. And the thing about Mac Jones, you don't see him manipulate the pocket a lot. He doesn't have to.
Yeah.
He does sometimes. You can find a player here where he does, but it's not something he has to do on a consistent basis like he will in the NFL. And it is something that Kyle Trask does on a consistent basis. That's what I like about it.
Yeah. So
also, he's freaking huge.
Yeah, a lot of people were like, "Oh, they compare him to certain quarterbacks," but for me,
he's bigger.
Yeah, he's big.
He's bigger.
The dude's really big, and I think when I seen the film that you and Jackhammer broke down, And on that film, what was evident was he has great anticipation.
He does.
He puts the ball, his receivers are not slowing down for the ball.
No, they're not.
And that's even on the deep ball. So that's what I found impressive from a guy who doesn't have a cannon. At least he knows where to put the ball and where it needs to be.
He's not particularly mobile. He doesn't have a cannon. He has great playmakers, but everything that he can do well, he does well.
Yeah, exactly. So,
hey, strong call, man.
Thanks, man.
You got to call back in again.
All right, man. Thanks.
All right, Ray. Have a good one, man. That was dope. Almighty Juju left another one. He's just throwing money at me right now. Hold on, Almighty. Yo, do you think Kyle keeps Jimmy one more year and hope he has an exploding year so they can get more out of him since all top quarterback going to get drafted early? I don't know, man. You're giving me these generous donations. I wish I had a better answer, man. I have no idea what they're going to do with Jimmy. I like what the guy said earlier, that Sunil, that the Patriots want him. The Niners want to give him to the Patriots. It's just about finding the right deal to send him back to New England. I like that, and I think they can find a good one. So I'm saying, yeah, I think they get rid of Jimmy this year. If they bring back Jimmy and don't extend his deal, they're cowards. They're cowards. We all know what you want to do. Do it. Freaking do it. Good stuff, Almighty. Appreciate you. Last call. And I'm sorry if I didn't get to anyone else, but C-Rod, what's up?
What's up, Grant?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. Not Stinger good, but I'm doing good.
Thanks.
Hey, man, I got a quick thing just to maybe take away some of this doom and gloom from the D Ford thing. And it might sound a little bit counterintuitive, but the 49ers need to extend him and spread that hit out over the course of 3 years, say. Maybe throw a little bit of on top, a little bit more money, but spread it out over time. And it takes away the cap hit right now.
Yep.
And so that's a possibility, maybe.
I think that's a possibility if they felt he was going to play again. I think there's a real feeling in the organization that he's never going to play again. That's what complicates things.
I have that feeling too. But the cap hit's the cap hit, no matter what.
So it is.
Pay him, reduce it, spread it over some time, and then maybe be able to bring in some more help this year.
That's true. But that's very creative. To give an extension to a guy that you think may never be able to play football again. I don't think they'll do it, even though it's creative and it might fix the problem now, wouldn't it? It would also create a problem down the line if he does retire. But then if he retires, then you don't have to worry about the money anymore, right? There you go.
Right. Or it's guaranteed, but it's just the same amount of money that the cap hit would be, and you're just trying to extend it out. I'm not a contract guy. I'm
not a contract guy either, but when you put it that way, I'm like, oh, it makes sense. That actually kind of makes sense. Yeah, give him it. If he retires, he retires. I think, yeah. Okay. What do you think about that? I like that.
Other thing real quick.
Sure, go ahead.
What we don't need is another tight end, but can he play a third receiver? Can he play that number 3 spot? And then if Kittle goes down, because Dwelly's not a threat that Kittle is.
Right. No, he definitely can play number 3 receiver, yes. He's basically a receiver, yes. He definitely can do that.
We've been talking about how concerned we are about that position, right? I mean, do we trust Richie James? Do we,
Right.
Who else? Kendrick Bourne's leaving. Who's going to fill in that spot? And if he's the best player there, I'm not advocating for it. I want a lineman or somebody that's going to contribute where we need it. But
you could think of them that way. And also, instead of using 3 wide receiver sets, you could just use 2 tight end sets with Kyle Pitts in the slot, and it's the same thing.
Right.
If you go back and watch him at Florida, they do use him as they'll line him up out wide, and he'll go up against corners. He's that good. So I think they would do that. And he's so much better at receiving than blocking that you would want to do that anyway. You don't need him in line. You can have him out there. No, you don't want him in there. Yeah,
absolutely.
Hey,
cool. That's all I got for you, Grant.
Thanks. Good stuff, man. Mark, what's up, Mark? How you doing, man?
Thanks for bringing me on at the last minute. I just hung out just in case, but I'll be quick because I know you need to get off. You got to talk to your dad.
Sure.
But listen, I'd be really worried about Kyle right now if he didn't know that Rosen is better than Jimmy right now. He's definitely better. He could do everything Jimmy could do right now, and he's better at throwing outside the numbers than Jimmy. I mean, I just can't imagine he's not thinking that way. I think the only reason why he's keeping Jimmy at this point is that he needs to try to get something out of it somehow.
Yes.
And I do think he has a bit of a draft crush. And you brought it up a little bit today on Pitts, because remember when what was that starting tight end he tried to get from a couple years ago to pair with Kittle? I think he still wants that. Yeah, I mean, I think he wants that. But my only question to you is this on him: when do you think he'll mature finally?
Kyle?
And what I mean by, when do you think he'll mature to where he doesn't worry about trying to make himself look like the star?
Oh, wow, I love that question. All right. How old are you? Do you mind telling us? How old are you?
66. 66.
Okay. I think right around your age. Right around your age. Maybe a little younger. Maybe a little younger. I think he's got a ways to go, man. He's got a ways.
Yeah, he does. He does.
No, but honestly, what I see from these offensive coaches, what I see from these offensive coaches, the genius ones that stick around for life in the NFL, is they go through an evolution where in their 30s and 40s, they're very much pushing their system because that's what got them famous or rich. And then they hang around, they don't win Super Bowls. And they finally, at like age 60, like Bruce Arians and Andy Reid, they're like, you know what? I'm going to scrap my system and build something that works for these players, and it works. So
exactly.
Maybe
I think you're right.
25 years. It won't be on the Niners.
No, it won't be. It won't. Hey, man, thanks for your time, man. Say hi to your dad for me, and best to you.
All right. Take care. Thank you. Look, I'm going to go, but Thrax is my homie. I got to bring him on.
What's up, Grant? How you doing?
Good, man.
I actually didn't have a topic, so
good. I need to call my dad. I gotta go, but hey, I just want to say, appreciate you, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Just happy to be here, dude. It's really awesome to see your success, and just a huge fan.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. You got anything going on tonight?
Not much. Just getting home, just chilling. But hey, well, all right. I do got one question because I know you got to go. All right.
Okay. All right.
Did we miss out on Carson Wentz? Personally, I don't think so. I think we dodged a bullet. But
I'm not into Carson Wentz. Not really.
Not either.
No, he's injury prone too. People don't like him. He's like an unlikable Jimmy.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean,
now I think he's a good fit for Indy because they have that offensive line. But I still think he might be damaged goods. He's expensive.
I think the Niners just need to upgrade their O line. It really doesn't matter who we put behind there. We need to address it.
Otherwise people just keep
cutting it.
Otherwise we'll just keep getting hurt. All right, man. I got to bounce, but I just want to say what's up to you before I left.
Hey, for sure, man. I appreciate it. Have a nice night.
All right, yeah, for sure.
See you.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for watching. As I always, I'm sorry if I didn't get to you today. I'll be back again soon, and we'll do it again. So thanks for watching. I'll be back. Take care.